Hi everyone, so today we're going to be trying out Alphakrylik Alpha 6 Core Paint Markers. This is part 2. Did a part 1 with the canvas, go check it out. Part 2 is on paper, so we're going to be doing some Toy Story art. I'm going to be using Buzz Lightyear as my test subject. I don't have my mat behind me. I think it gets better lighting. I think the mat is too shiny and it affects the lighting on my camera, so you're going to see my desk. Hopefully I don't mess it up. I'm going to be careful. So this video took me, I think, hour and a half. So I'm gonna speed it up, but you'll be able to see everything that I'm doing in the video. I didn't do any cuts or anything like that, besides just to bring a canvas in to do a comparison on the markers. And as I stated in my first video, when you're painting on canvas, it doesn't absorb the ink. On paper does. So on canvas, I can hit like one layer, like the first pass, and then one second pass, and then the color's real nice on there. And that's because, you know, you have the spray paint or you have the gesso on the canvas, which prevents the paint from seeping into the material. But on paper, it absorbs most of the pigment. So you're gonna see here on the paper, on Buzz Lightyear's face, I did my first pass. You can see I'm letting it dry, and I hit it again, and it still wasn't uniform. So that means you would have to hit it a few times, and I'm not going to, because I'm just gonna be wasting the marker. So it's like with any paint marker, they always work better on canvas, any hard surfaces. If you're gonna use them on paper, you might have to do a few passes, and you might tear up the paper. But that I've seen, this marker didn't really tear up the paper too much. The nib's really nice and soft, and it's because of the ink being fluid, or the acrylic paint being fluid. So I'm hitting every area on its color first. I did the face with a tan color. I did the purple, just so I'm not jumping around too much. And this piece is mostly white, you know, because Buzz Lightyear, his suit has a lot of white and just the green. So far, the paint marker is going in good, but I noticed that it doesn't have that sheen on canvas. When it dries, it has like a sheen to it. Like if it looks like it has like a glossy look to it. Well, not glossy, because glossy is really, you know, glossy. It has a sheen to it. But I noticed on paper it doesn't really have that sheen. Only the black does. For some reason, the black looks shiny. I thought it was wet, but it was dry. But the marker, as I'm drawing and moving my hand around the paper, it feels like tacky. So I thought it was still wet, but it's not wet, it's dry, but it has this tackiness to it, and it's probably because of the sheen that's in there. Whatever they're using as a binder, once it dries, it gives that nice sheen. But I feel like you can't really see it on paper. And on part 1, I put a clear coat over this paint, and pretty much, the clear coat just like ate the paint up, like it melted it, and that happens with some brands. So in my opinion, since it already has a sheen when it dries on canvas and it looks really nice, you don't have to hit it with a clear coat. You probably could. Maybe this company has a clear coat and it works with this paint, or you could probably use a brush on, but I just use a spray. That's what I've been using for years. And I tested tons of markers out, so I use those markers. But there's other brands that I use when I spray the clear coat, like the purple will get really dark, like Crink and stuff like that. That's the reason why I don't really use those markers anymore. And I use a lot of the Posca just because it goes on matte, and then when I hit it with a clear coat, and if I'm using acrylic paint, like a majority of the paints that I use, or Liquitex Basics or Winsor & Newton, if I use any of those paints with the Posca and I hit it with a clear coat, everything looks uniform. It looks the same. I don't really have any issues. That's the reason why I use those products. This one, I like it. I like the vibrant colors it has. Posca has cool, like the pastel and everything, but I don't know, this company really makes the vibrant colors. And when the marker, the acrylic paint, or the ink, whatever you want to call it, dries on canvas, it has a nice sheen to it where you don't need to put a clear coat. But if you do, you probably got to get whatever they're selling. Maybe it works, or a brush on clear coat, maybe that can help. But I recommend not hitting this with a clear coat. But as you can see on paper, totally different thing. You're not gonna hit it with no clear coat on paper. But on paper, I already laid the green down. I'm coming in again. This is my second pass, and it still has like some white showing through. So I'm not gonna keep hitting this. So we're just testing out the markers on paper. But this is the reason why your technique is really important. Like if I'm gonna be doing a canvas as I'm doing here, this is a canvas I did with the Posca markers. I want to come in right now to show you guys while I'm doing the Buzz Lightyear, how when it dries, it has like a sheen to it. As you can see, the Posca is a matte. That's dry. I didn't lay no clear coat on this. It looks matte, right? It looks uniform over 2 passes. But you can see here, once it dries, it has a sheen to it. And that's on canvas. So, the reason why I hit the Posca markers with a clear coat is because it's matte. So if you touch it, it will get dirty. But with the Alphakrylik paint markers, you wouldn't need to have a clear coat applied just because it has a sheen. It already has a protectant, so that's pretty good. But what I noticed is that, for example, let's say I use my Posca, the black, right? And then I want to go over it with a white Posca. Like the colors bleed together. Like once the black, even though it's dry, and you hit it with the wet white, for some reason, like it activates like the black again, and you get like a muddy nib. I noticed that with these paint markers, the Alphakrylik paint markers, if I have black and then I go over it with white, once it's dry, and you don't have like that bleeding, dirty nib. And I believe it's because of the sheen, right? The binder that's in there. So that that's good. This is a tool. So I will be using these markers as a tool. Like if I'm gonna do like canvases and commissions on canvas, then I'll be using these markers. But if I'm doing a big painting where I'm doing oils and I'm mixing all this mixed media, multimedia, I wouldn't use these, just because when I go to do the clear coat spray, some people are gonna say, well, you should use a brush. Well, that's what I use. I do what I like. I've been doing it for years, and I'm not gonna change what works. I just wouldn't use this marker for that. I would just do this for separate different pieces, because I really like the marker and the colors and the sheen. So I hit the face with the ballpoint just because the marker's too fat to black, so I'm not gonna ruin it. And now I'm coming in with the outline. Once those colors were all dry, I built the colors in the piece. I did the grays first, and I did some blues, and then I did the greens and the grays. Now I'm just coming in doing the outline. This is where it's really gonna pop. And see right here, I thought the paint was it's wet, and it's not wet. It just has tackiness to it. So as I'm trying to move my hand on the paper, I can't. Like it stops my hand. So I had to lift my hand up. I'm used to sliding my hand on the paper. That's how I get my nice clean lines. But that tackiness that it has, like, kind of prevents me from sliding. So I had to move the paper a lot. I move the paper a lot anyway, but just a little bit more this time. And as you can see, once again, there's no sheen. I feel like on paper it looks matte. But the purple went down good, like those dark colors. But I mean the light colors, like the yellow, the red, the tan, you have to do another pass, maybe a third or fourth pass. But I wasn't going to. I'm not gonna waste the marker. This is only for demonstration purposes. But I'm coming in here with the black, and I also noticed that when the black dries, it has a really, really, shiny sheen, more than all the colors. So I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of the lighting, because it's so dark. But here it is, guys, on paper. It's doing a pretty good job. There you go, sliding my hand. Building all these lines. That's what's making it really pop, really nice. Man, I really wanted to keep doing this piece, but I'm doing a few short videos today for my shorts feed. Everyone's asking me, hey, can I do different type of characters? So I'm gonna get those done. But I really wanted to just keep going with this piece and make it look really cool. But once I got done with that line work, I didn't really want to come in and start correcting a bunch of lines, so I just finished it. But it came out really good. As I said, guys, if you want to get better, just keep practicing, and the more time you put into a piece, the better it's gonna look. This only had, like, I think it was an hour, and it was mostly the coloring. The outline I did it like in 10 minutes. Now I'm coming in just doing a little touch up just so I don't have it looking too sloppy. You know, I don't want to get lazy. That's my discipline there kicking in. Coming in, building in, you know, underneath his stomach, the vents. Then I'm coming here with the green. Oh, let me just try again and see what it does. And I was like, let me just leave it alone. Then I put my initials FAS on his chest. And as you can see, it's been dry, has that sheen to it. And the Posca blue it has the matte finish. Yeah, I like the matte finish. The matte finish, but it's like I said, it's what you want, what you're trying to get at the end of this, right? There it goes. There's no really no sheen right now. It has more of a matte look to it. But you see the black, how it's shining. So the black has more of that sheen. I don't know why, but like I said, maybe it's because it's dark. But yeah, depending on what you want to do, these are the tools that you need to use, and I use it all. But the marker did a really great job. I like the colors, real vibrant, and the sheen is something that I'm really enjoying, because now when I want to do something, I hit a clear coat, I could just use these markers. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm the artist. Here's my art. Check out my channel. I have tons of art videos explaining how to become a better artist, different techniques, spray painting, and there's something on my channel that you don't see and you want to know about it and I can talk about it, I'll make a video. Thanks.